There are certain kinds of art that refuse to be glanced at casually. They demand your full attention, not with noise or color explosions, but with a hypnotic rhythm, a precision in design that feels at once mathematical and deeply human. Mesmerizing parametric wooden wall art is one of those rare forms. The moment you see it, your mind is caught in its orbit. Lines curve, layers shift, shadows slide across surfaces, and before you know it, you're tracing every contour with your eyes, wondering how something so structured can feel so alive. Parametric design, at its core, is about patterns governed by rules, mathematical algorithms that define shape, space, and relationship. But when this precision is expressed through wood, an organic, living material, something magical happens. You get a marriage between strict geometry and warm imperfection. Every line, every ripple, every lead curve is calculated, but the wood grain disrupts perfection in the most pleasing way. You see sharp symmetry softened by natural swirls, mechanical repetition interrupted by knots and color variations. It's like a symphony where half the orchestra plays from sheet music and the other half improvises, yet somehow the result is harmonious. Walking into a room where a large parametric wooden panel hangs on the wall is an experience in itself. At first, you see the overall form. Perhaps it's a great sweeping wave, perhaps it's a nested series of curves, maybe it's a flowing spiral that seems to pull you toward its center. Then your eye begins to wander along the edges, noticing that every layer is a precise cut, each one spaced to create depth and shadow. As light from the room changes, morning sunlight, afternoon glow, evening lamplight, the artwork shifts too. Shadows deepen in the grooves, highlights glide across the ridges, and what felt static at first reveals itself as dynamic, constantly responding to its environment. Parametric wooden wall art can take many shapes, but the most captivating designs often embrace fluidity. Imagine a piece that mimics the way water moves, undulating waves captured in frozen motion, yet somehow still suggesting movement. Or perhaps the form recalls wind-sculpted sand dunes, each rich, precise but unpredictable in height and shape. Others might look more architectural, cascading geometric folds that resemble the draped fabric of a modern building facade, or tight repeating curves that suggest the coiled interior of a seashell. Whatever the form, the secret to its power lies in repetition with variation. The human brain loves patterns, but it craves small deviations, tiny differences from one layer to the next that make you linger and keep exploring. The creation process for such pieces is a fascinating blend of technology and craftsmanship. It often begins in a 3D modeling program where the designer plays with parameters, adjusting curve tightness, spacing, depth, rotation, until the digital form feels alive. From there, these virtual shapes are translated into precise cutting instructions, often for CNC routers or laser cutters. But this is where the human hand re-enters the process. The wood must be selected with care, no two boards are the same, and the right choice can amplify the effect. Grain direction can enhance the illusion of movement. A darker species like walnut can create dramatic shadows, while a pale maple can give a lighter, almost glowing presence. Once cut, the layers are sanded, sometimes by machine for the bulk of the work, but always by hand for the fine finish. Edges are softened, surfaces smoothed until they invite touch. Some artists choose to leave the wood raw, letting its natural color and texture shine, while others apply stains or oils to deepen the contrast and emphasize the grain. When the layers are assembled, they are aligned with obsessive precision, each one mounted just far enough from the next to catch the light but not so far as to break the flow. The final piece becomes a single, seamless form that still holds the memory of its many parts. One of the most striking things about parametric wooden wall art is how it interacts with light. The same piece can look bold and dramatic in bright daylight, the ridges casting sharp, dark shadows that give the form a crisp definition. Under soft ambient lighting, those shadows blur, and the piece takes on a more subtle, atmospheric presence. Some artists take advantage of this by integrating LED backlighting behind or within the piece, allowing the artwork to glow from its edges or from within its deepest grooves. This adds another layer of parametric magic, light as a design element, shifting the experience from day to night, from bold sculpture to luminous centerpiece. In larger spaces, these works can scale up into full wall installations, becoming architectural statements rather than standalone art pieces. Imagine an entire feature wall covered in flowing, layered wooden waves, each cut precise yet softened by the natural material. In a smaller setting, a single panel can still dominate the room, becoming a conversation piece that rewards repeated viewing. People will stand in front of it and tilt their heads, step closer, trace the lines with their fingers. It becomes not just visual art, but a tactile and spatial experience. The mesmerizing quality comes from more than just shape, it's the way the mind engages with it. Parametric wooden art doesn't tell you exactly what it is. It suggests, it hints, it evokes. You might see water in it, while someone else sees wind, and another sees the inside of a living organism. Because the form is abstract, it leaves room for personal interpretation. And because it's built on rules, repeated spacing, proportional scaling, it feels orderly enough to be soothing, yet organic enough to feel alive. Even in a modern home filled with glass and steel, parametric wooden wall art brings a warmth and a grounding quality. The wood connects to something primal, a reminder of trees, growth, and nature, while the design speaks of innovation and forward-thinking creativity. It's old and new, natural and engineered, organic and mathematical, all in one. Collectors often speak of the meditative quality these pieces bring. In a world of constant visual clutter, this kind of art offers focus. The repeated forms guide your eyes along a path, slowing your thoughts, inviting you to breathe and just observe. And unlike a flat painting, which remains the same from any angle, parametric wall art changes as you move. Step to the side and the ridges reveal different depths. Kneel down and look upward, and you might see the layers collapse into a compressed pattern. It's a piece that rewards curiosity and movement, much like nature itself. The making of these works also reflects a shift in how we think about craftsmanship. The old idea of an artisan working entirely by hand still has value, but today's creators are just as comfortable working with software, digital fabrication tools, and precision machinery. They are blending the precision of the digital age with the warmth and unpredictability of natural materials. The result isn't cold or mechanical, it's something that feels both perfectly engineered and deeply human. In commercial spaces, hotels, restaurants, offices, parametric wooden wall art serves a different role. Here, it becomes an anchor for the interior design, a way to set a tone. A reception area with a bold, wave-like panel instantly feels modern yet welcoming. A restaurant wall with glowing, backlit curves invites guests to linger. Even in corporate environments, the art softens the space, making it more inviting without sacrificing professionalism. In homes, placement can completely change the piece's personality. Over a fireplace, it becomes a focal point that draws the eye upward. In a hallway, it creates a journey, pulling you along its curves as you pass. Above a bed, it becomes a calming presence, a visual lullaby that quiets the mind. And because parametric designs can be scaled, they can fit anywhere, from expansive living room walls to intimate study corners. Some artists push the concept even further by integrating sound into their work, designing panels that not only look beautiful but also serve as acoustic diffusers. The ridges and grooves scatter sound waves, improving room acoustics while serving as a visual masterpiece. It's a perfect example of art meeting function, where the aesthetic isn't just decoration but part of the space's sensory experience. Owning a piece of mesmerizing parametric wooden wall art isn't about filling a blank wall, it's about inviting a living form into your space. It's about having something that doesn't just exist in the background but actively participates in the room's atmosphere. The more you look at it, the more you see. The longer you live with it, the more it becomes a part of your daily rhythm. And perhaps the most enchanting thing about these works is that they remind us of two truths: that beauty can be engineered, and that even in precision, there is room for unpredictability. The curves, the shadows, the interplay between material and design, these are not accidents, but neither are they entirely controlled. In that tension between calculation and chance, between digital perfection and natural flaw, lies the soul of the piece. Mesmerizing parametric wooden wall art doesn't just decorate, it transforms. It reshapes light, manipulates space, plays with perception, and slows the mind. It offers a moment of focus in a noisy world, a connection between the logical and the emotional, the planned and the organic. And in its presence, you can't help but feel drawn in, pulled along those flowing lines, caught in the rhythm of its layers, until all that exists is the quiet, steady beauty of form in perfect balance.